So a very good afternoon, everyone, and thanks and welcome to QES Group Berhad's second quarter results briefing for the financial year 2022. I'm Shuin from Imishiwa Communications. We are the third-party IR and PR consultant for QES, and I shall be your moderator for today's briefing. So today's results briefing is part of Bursa Malaysia's Investor Relations and Public Relations project for selected listed companies. The IR and PR project is aimed to improve the visibility and accessibility of participating PLCs via more active IR engagements with the investment community. For the first phase of the project, Imishiwa Communications has been appointed to train and educate participating PLCs to conduct effective IR engagements. The selected companies for this program are PLCs that are less accessible to analysts and investors, but highly in demand based on the feedback received from the investment community. We wish to thank QES for participating in this project. The recording of the investor briefing and presentation slides will be made available for all on Bursa Malaysia Institutional Insights portal after the event. Today, we have with us Mr. Chew New Wong, co-founder, president, and managing director of QES, who will bring us through today's briefing. Without further ado, I'll hand it over to you, Mr. Chew.
Hey, hi. Thank you, Shuin. Good afternoon, everybody and the participants here. Okay, I think without further ado, I will quickly run through the presentation now. You all know, but basically this time around, I will probably, run through quickly the front part of the slides. I think most of you are already familiar with QES Group. So I think I'll just straight away jump to the results analysis and also the I think more importantly, the Q&A, where I think probably some of you may want to ask us questions that's relevant going forward. All right. Again, this is a disclaimer. Yeah, I'm sure you understand that. Corporate culture, no change. Whatever that's last quarter, it still remain the same. Now, this is again a quick glance through of what we do: distribution, manufacturing. I mean, the three key verticals here: semiconductor, E&E, automotive, and our core business in terms of distribution, recurring income, the spare parts and service, and manufacturing. Now, okay, running through the Q2 2022 results, we had, I wouldn't say really good quarters, but it's more towards trying to manage the revenue in terms of shipment and deliveries. When I say management, it's always a problem these days. How fast can we deliver in terms of the supply chain issues? So we are no different from others. I think we are facing the same exact issues that other peers of QES are having experienced the last 2 quarters. We come in at 53 million in terms of total revenue. EBITDA at 7.7, which is, about Q to Q is minus because we had a good Q1 for some reason. Now, somebody asked me, how do I explain that? We are not really into seasonal numbers, but it's more like, I think towards the end of the year, we couldn't ship every time because of the holiday season and all that, and preparation for, whatever holidays, staff is taking leave, or sometimes services are not available. So a lot of shipment goes to Q1. This is what I can, kind of allude to, but I don't have data to back me up on that. So this is what I see that it has been happening for the last 3 years or so. In terms of year to year, I think we are up in terms of revenue. We are about 12% up year to year. In terms of the EBITDA, we are around 13% up, generating in terms of the first half, we are EBITDA at 18.4 million compared to 16.3 last June and 2021. In terms of profit, again, quarter to quarter, we are down by 29.9, but in terms of year on year, we are slightly up at close to 6%, generating profit after tax of 11.4 million as of 30th of June 2022, compared to as of 30th of June 2021. Yeah, this is what I've just now outlined, exactly what I said, and it's just another graphical indication that year on year we are on the green, but quarter on quarter we are down. Okay, and this is just graphical charts indicating our every quarter since we got listed. So we have been beaming up quarterly results. So so far, I think we are on a very steady curve, I would say. Again, first half, of course, you project it on a linear basis, by the time we end 2022, we hope that, based on linearity, we should be around 22, 23 million profit after tax point of view. Yeah, this is again some of the charts indicating the growth that we have in terms of revenue year on year. In terms of gross profit, we are also growing as well. In terms of PBT, we are growing year on year, and also after tax profit. All steady, not like a big jump, but I would say we are in a very steady mood in terms of the profitability and also revenue growth on year basis. Yeah. Cash is strong. Fundamentally, the company is generating a good cash flow. So we always have around 70 to 75, 76 million cash available. So that is, probably augurs well for any company if you have that kind of cash. So for us, we are comfortable with the level that we are having right now. Gearing ratio, yes, also very healthy. Balance sheet point of view, just 0.26, and that allow us some room to gear up a little bit if we wanted to. And hopefully, we don't have to go that much. Oops, what happened? Let me go back to the slide. Yeah, this is earnings before tax, showing the graphical charts in terms of the EBITDA and earnings per share and current ratio, and also profit attributed to the owners of the company. Yeah, all probably steady, I would say. This slides, I would like to maybe spend a little bit more time. You can see that a big chunk of revenue is coming from Malaysia. We had a huge quarter in Q1 2022, last quarter, at 31.6 million for Malaysia, and Q2 has dipped down quite a fair bit. And I would think we have, in terms of manufacturing side, there's a shipment that is some hiccups here and there, distribution as well. So this hopefully will iron out in the next 2-3 quarters. Yeah. ASEAN, in terms of, I would say both year on year we are growing. It's the same scenario that I've explained just now. Q and Q, Q to Q, we are down, but year on year we are growing. So you can see that in terms of overall ASEAN, we are on almost parity, but reasonable revenue generating from ASEAN. In terms of Singapore, we have a dip in terms of year and year and both quarter and quarter. Generally because of the high benchmark that we have had in terms of 2021 and also of course Q1 2022. Yeah. Vietnam growing back strongly. If you remember, maybe 3 or 4 quarters back, Vietnam wasn't in a kind of results that is not really good because of a high benchmark, and then we dipped down because of the COVID and all that. Now we are seeing a little bit of resemblance of normalcy, I would say, and that is how we are seeing Vietnam. I think this year probably Vietnam will grow and do well. Yeah. Philippines is also coming back because of the semiconductor and mining that is contributing. Thailand, in terms of year on year, is parity. Q and Q, somehow Thailand is growing quite a fair bit. Indonesia, year on year is down, but we had a relatively good quarter in Q2, so that helps. And I like to bring your attention to China and the rest of the world. It seems like we had a big shipment out in terms of rest of the world, so it shows 3,900%. But in terms of China, there's some shipment wasn't able to get it out, but overall we are hitting 9.6 million in terms of China revenue, and that shows good traction. We have worked on China, we have worked hard, even though without us physically presence there, we are able to secure orders through online, and we even install machines by training the distributors through video engagement and all that. So that is good because without even physically us traveling there, we are managing a results, I would say, is quite commendable. We year on year, in terms of 30th of June, we are at 7.6. Now we are generating 9.6. And for China, I think we are still so-called direction point of view, we are still very aggressive trying to up our presence in China. By country, by region, I think this is all quite clearly that Malaysia is still a major, even though it dips in Q2, but it's always hovering around 40% on average, and 60% outside of Malaysia. So that, I mean ASEAN, sorry, and then another 13.4% outside of the ASEAN region. In terms of our core division, distribution and manufacturing, and also recurring income, I think the last quarter I did highlighted that we have some shortfall in the 15.7% of the totality, but now it has come back to 23.7 because of some of the I would say Q1, maybe the engineers or the customers, some multiple factors. But when you look at 4 quarters in an annual basis, I think our recurring income is pretty consistent and generating close to 25% on average of our total. So that is again one of the very strong pillar of QES in terms of our recurring income. Manufacturing is plodding along, and it's still my aim to really improve the percentages in terms of manufacturing. I will talk a little bit more as we go along in a couple of pages later in terms of manufacturing direction and also going forward. This is again a breakdown by industries, very kind of a good sense of balance, if you ask me. So semiconductor is around 40-45% on average of our total. And we have E&E, the people that makes cables, wire harness, the people that make hard disk drives and micro motors and all that. So those contribute E&E, or domestic appliances. And of the automotive and metal, again, is around 18 to 20% on average. So you can see that we have industrial segment diversity, and that I think year in, year out comes in very good and very useful for QES, because we are not entirely, putting all our eggs in one market segment. Let's say, you're talking about industrial, maybe downturn. Everybody knows here, semiconductor is predicted to have a slowdown in the second half, and probably the first half of 2023 as well. So again, QES group, I think we are diversified enough to have a certain strength to withstand whatever impending downturn that is coming through the next couple of quarters here. This is manufacturing. As I try to look into the details of it, what series are generating, what kind of revenues amongst the group of category of products within the manufacturing side. So you can see here, this is the first half of 2022. Now, these are the semi-automatic machines. This is fully automatic machines. These are the advanced metrology series, and this is automated handling. So basically, it's in tandem. We are seeing that the longer lead time, the fully automatic AOI series will take longer time to manufacture because we have a lot of components shortages, and that kind of extended the lead time. So this is a perpetual problem. The last 1.5 years, We don't seem to get out from this cycle. I'm not sure about the other players that is into the same field that we are. Probably some of you have attended some of their briefings. I'm not sure, but probably you get the similar kind of reverberation coming out from them as well in terms of the shipment issues due to supply chain and shortage of components, a long lead time of components. In fact, later on, I have a slide just to outline to you all that some of the critical components and how long are those deliveries comparatively to last before the so-called pandemic. This slide I will show that it tells us the number of machines that we have. Now, again, as I said, we are just compiling the totality of the numbers. Of course, active ones, probably 6,000-7,000 right now, but it's still generating 35-40 million ringgit of revenue and with good gross profit, I would say. So this is something that we have, that is very resilient. It can withstand any recession, can withstand any downturn. I don't like to go through this again, but it's the same slide that I have presented last quarter. So I believe all of you know what is it, where's our strength, in terms of QES Group point of view. Again, the investment merits, some changes here. Of course, our cash and cash equivalent and all that is keep on changing. Stable recurring income, as what I said, very diverse market segment. And also we are strong in terms of ASEAN network, and right now we are moving into Europe market and China market and Taiwan market through our manufacturing equipment. All right. This corporate updates probably is very key for Q&A later on. Now I just run through them. We have moved in here. I'm now in the new office since 23rd March, and probably planning to have an official opening hopefully before the end of 2022. Then Batu Kawan, just an update. We have met some consultant. The whole idea is to appoint a consultant to help us to manage the project in Batu Kawan, term it as QES 2.0 at BKIP. And probably we'll do a groundbreaking by middle of December. That is the target, that's the schedule. And the construction will probably take 10 to 12 months. So we think we can actually start utilizing or facilitizing the factory somewhere end of 2023. Okay, so that is another milestone of event here. Now, I'm sure you've seen some announcement and all that we did a little bit of board reshuffling. Now, I just want to again highlight that part of the reason or primary reasons is because of the SC requirements to have a 30% board composition female point of view. So that's the reason why. And Mr. Chia, thank you for his kindness to volunteer to have him replace himself by Ms. Wong, which now sits in the board as an independent non-executive director. You can see her profile in the board announcement and all that. Appointment announcement. Again, this MCCG also requires me to move out from the remuneration committee so that we are in compliance with the MCCG. And again, some of the reason is because we are also trying to migrate the group from ACE to main, and based on the submission, we submitted somewhere around 7th of July, and we think, based on feedback from our investment banker UOB Kay Hian, hopefully by end of the year we can move up to the main market, barring unforeseen circumstances, because we are continuously receiving queries like as per usual, and they will ask us to explain certain things that we have put forward. Sorry. Okay, and yeah, this is the slide that I said I wanted to maybe spend a little bit more time. We are still on track to increase the percentage of manufacturing division. I'm quite, I would say, very persistent on that. So every quarter, I will look at it very detailed and where are we in terms of manufacturing. So just to share with all of you, order intake from all customers in semiconductor, it's still very strong. You know, you can see on year-on-year basis, like up to July, I think our order book for manufacturing is I think it's around 27 million, and you compare it to order book last year, you know, July 2021, it was something like 11 only. So you can see the big jump. So we are having 140% jump year on year in terms of order intake. Now, how can I turn it into revenue, into billing, into invoice? You know, so that is the problems that we are facing, because we can't get certain parts on time. We can't get certain critical, let's say, lenses from Nikon. It's gone mad because they promised us delivery in March, then they rescheduled to May, and now they're telling I can only get my lenses in September. So this is really an issue that for us, because and then we have to explain to our clients and tell them. I think our clients, I mean customers in semiconductor, also understand that some of these long deliveries of critical components has been still is not resolved. You know, it's still persistent. So that's where I'm trying to give all of you some inputs in terms of manufacturing division. We also recently have inquiries from Korea and India, so we have appointed new sales channel partners somewhere around July, and they have not given us any results yet, but then it seems like they are keen. So we hope the next couple of quarters, hopefully they can generate something out. I mean, it's all zero there anyway, so I don't mind that they have people interested to represent and distribute our product line in those countries. Why not? You know, it's one is better than zero. Yeah, just another good thing is in terms of our PDA 1000, which is the AOI series, we just got some repeat orders, and these are all extensively used in the electric vehicles our customers are supplying to the EV makers and all that. So that also a positive sign. Yeah, I was saying just now about the China activities. You know, we are still going very gradual but strong and firm order intake from our China partners. And my partner, Mr. Liu, is also working hard and trying to set up an office in China. It's going to be based in Shanghai, and we intend to have our local engineers, and hopefully that infrastructure to support our distributors generally, because we have now close to 6 or 7 distributors, new distributors in China, and we need a physical office to support them. You know, we train them, we'll bring them over here for training, and once they are good engineers, enough experience, then they'll go back there and support our distributors. So this is some of the activities that we do in China, and we already signed up to participate. I'm not sure we have signed up or not, but we want to participate in some of the exhibition in China next year. We already missed 2 years. So again, as I said, we think China is still a very important market for our manufacturing division in terms of semiconductor equipment. So yeah, so much on manufacturing side. So I'm really still keen to drive the manufacturing. Hopefully we'll reach 30-35% of our total revenue. It's still an ongoing process. And I hope, and I really wish that I can get it done as soon as, 2 years from now or 3 years from now, maximum. Distribution division, yeah. I think we are also adding very strong order intake. I think we have up to July 95 million in terms of distribution, and you compare it to July 2021. So year on year, that was only 75 million. So we are already having up 26% in terms of distribution order intake. So it tells us a story again. But most of the customers are also coming from E&E and semiconductor, and a steady growth from the metal and automotive, I would say. Yeah, and we have obtained the ISO standards for QES Vietnam. And here, QES Asia Pacific, at the same time, we also got the ISO standards. Now, why is it important? Because customers will feel very confident that we have the capability, we have the ability to do calibration work that is according to standards. So this is very key, and it helps us to, in fact, get more service jobs, or kind of gives the customer a lot more confidence. If we sell them equipment, they know for sure that we can actually give them a good service. We are compliant to these ISO standards that is going to be recertificated every other year. So that's important, yeah. Then all this tying to of course, the recurring income. So as I said earlier on, we based on Q2 is close to 24% of the total revenue, and that is a steady source of income to the group with good GP. Our recurring income, spare parts sales and services done, and that is probably 35% kind of GP. So that is healthy. All right. And going forward, in terms of the outlook summary for FY 2022, what our plans and all that. Yeah, we understand semiconductor is going to be down second half 2022. Now, how do we mitigate and how do we address that? I'm sure some of you might have the same question. I'm trying to anticipate some of the question, and then just upfront, I will just quickly run through with all of you that we have a lot of orders to be delivered, so that helps. So we will work hard to deliver all this equipment over the next couple of months until 31st of December 2022, and that helps us. So looking at all the order intake, we do the fulfillment, we should be able to achieve a reasonable growth in terms of both revenue and profitability. So again, the concern is always how fast can we deliver. Now, not only our manufacturing side, our suppliers are also telling us that, hey, Mr. QES, I can't deliver the machine to you because a simple microscope from Nikon, I heard, used to be 3 months. Now it's like almost 5-6 months of delivery lead time. So that is, in my younger days, like if I roll back in time, 30 years ago, I never hear that a microscope delivery is 5 to 6 months. It was at that time 4 weeks, 5 weeks at most. So you can see so much changes have been ongoing for the last 2 years or so. Well, all in, I think we are very kind of cautiously moving, trying to achieve a healthy growth for the full year of 2022. Even though we know that there's geopolitical tensions, there's rising inflation, there's ongoing global supply chain disruptions and all that, we are still targeting a growth in terms of 2022, both top line and bottom line. So we think we are able to do that based on a good and strong order book. At the same time, how fast can we deliver? We are chasing, we are working very hard. And also our recurring income plays a very good role in terms of getting us across the line in terms of the profitability as well. So that, hopefully you are clear on that. And in terms of the plans, down the road, 2022 to 2026, where a quick update on the joint venture with US. Yeah, we are now absorbing some of the losses from our associate. I think in the accounts there, it reflects that probably we are maybe absorbing close to $500,000 kind of losses from this joint venture. And I would think the whole idea is to break even within 2 years for operation. So we just started somewhere around end of April this year. So I'm still expecting some kind of losses, but minimal. But confidently, our partners, the US Applied Engineering, is moving very steady to have hiring done, housing the people and all that. So if some of you are going to Penang, then let me know. Maybe I can have you all visiting the plant, sometimes end of the year, that kind of timeline, I think will be good. Right now, we are still hiring the process. We also will start construction of the Badukau one somewhere around December. As I said earlier on, some target to operate within end of 2023. And we'll continue to work on China market through a very aggressive expansion plans. Hopefully, the China revenue will, we budgeted around 12 to 13 million ringgit for FY 2022. As we go along, we may increase and target a higher revenue. And through that expansion, we hope to have the right exposure for China in terms of semiconductor players there. So all of you know, we already been servicing big multinational companies, people like whether it's Intel or NXP or Amkor or Micron or ST Micro and all that. So we're now trying to get some of the domestic China players, the really local China semiconductor manufacturing of ICs. So that's one of the whole plan to do aggressive expansion plans. And we have to rely on our sales channel partners, which we have already appointed 6 or 7 of them right now, working at different parts of China, or sometimes even account basis. So that is something that we hope that we can see some results, hopefully a stronger results 2023 and even better in 2024. I've never shy away, or we always actively look out for M&A or acquisition to really move into expansion. It's going to be more towards manufacturing, because whatever I look at, I will look at, how can I increase my manufacturing content. So any M&A, it has to be true. I wouldn't be so keen to acquire a similar distributor, doing the same work that we are doing, not to the distribution side, but I'm looking forward to acquiring manufacturing companies that can complement or work add on to our strength. And then again, this is I'm very focused to deliver manufacturing revenue contribution of at least 35% of total revenue. I've stated that since, I don't know, 2-3 years ago, and it's an ongoing process, and I believe I can achieve that given us some time. Few slides here is basically just, I think most of you have that, tells you what's the current market scenario in the worldwide semiconductor, since we are so heavily involved in semiconductor in terms of 45% of our total revenue. I said that a couple of quarters back, you will have dips here and there, but I will still strongly believe overall sense, the semiconductor is going to be on the upward side. So you can have, some quarters down, some quarters up, but overall, you can see it's supposed to be on an uptrend. Maybe the CAGR of close to 7% is the right numbers to work at. And we also have to be mindful in terms of what semiconductor market segment we are in. So, of course, QES, we are into most of them, whether there's DRAM, whether there's so-called handphone segments or automotive ICs or IoT sensors. So we are having customers along that chain. Now, of course, looking at our products, our post-wire bonding inspection are mainly targeting to automotive ICs. So that's why we are getting some of the orders is from that segment. So that helps. And we think the trend is still on the upward, stronger base in terms of automotive ICs. Fab equipment, even though we are not really into wafer fab, but we are wading into that area. So we have product lines. We have recently secured some orders from some of the local Malaysian fabs. When I say Malaysian fab, is located in Malaysia. It can be a local, it can be a foreign owned, but we are getting some orders from these fabs in terms of manufacturing equipment side. This is a slide that I pull it up. I think the source is from Nikkei Asia. Basically, it gives you an idea of how bad the critical components delivery. So you look at precision ball screws, you're talking about, 10 to 15 months. Optical systems, 10 to 15 months. That's Zeiss. We are doing the Nikon. And you look at wafer handling transmission robots, that's about 12 months delivery lead time. So you look at all the equipment makers on the right here, ASML, Nikon. I mean, for ASML, it's like 2 years before you can get the equipment. You place an order today, 25 months or 24 months later, you get it. So it's that long. So similarly, some of the other applied materials or Lam Research or Tokyo Electron or KLA, some of the delivery time is really, really long. So I don't know whether it's good or bad. If you ask me, to me, it kind of spread out the billings. You get an orders and then the billings is kind of spread out. So that's why I said earlier on, how do we manage the revenue? When I say management, it's not arbitrarily managing it. It's managing in the sense that your delivery will dictate your invoice. I mean, delivery of your components to make up the machines will dictate how fast can you deliver. So these slides, again, backed up what I've said earlier on. And this is not from me. This is from Nikkei Asia doing the analysis. So it tells you a very good picture of why most of the ATE equipment makers are facing delivery issues in terms of critical components. A couple of slides more is just like our product placement and then just update line in terms of where we are. We have spent quite a fair bit already, except for this stalker machine that is still pending, and a little bit of 500-something thousand in terms of the working capital. There's been a lot of talk about ESG. Mr. Liu and myself also have been attending seminar, webinars organized by Bursa and also some of the radio channels recently. And it's a very, I would say, it's a good thing, I would say. We subscribe to that, we believe in that. So it's not a greenwashing type of thing that we are doing. We are really believing in that. So I think that's very important. Education or educating our people, paper usage. We are doing a lot of work in terms of trying to avoid, because there's so many issues that you can see, the flood, the heat wave. So all this is really play a key role. So if every small company like us or everybody play their role, I think overall we can. It will not eliminate, but reduce the progression of these environmental issues. Just want to highlight here, QES is somehow not something new. We have been doing this for many, many years. We actually sells distribution division equipment that is to monitor hazardous elements. Hazardous elements means those elements like lead, mercury, cadmium, and all that. Those are hazardous to the element. So we sell those equipment, we market this equipment, and the customers buy this equipment to check their product lines and ensure that they are compliant to the standards of WE, EEE, and ROSH. So that is something that we are playing an indirect role, trying to ensure that our customers use this equipment to monitor this hazardous. If it's over the limit, they'll be banned from selling at this market. So that's something very interesting for us. Social, we are approximately, it's strange, we do a calculation like 30% of our employee female, 70% male. So we are really adhering by nature of that HR tabulation. And this place is good for the employees, very health conscious. We have a lot of vibrant and happy people, I hope, and we have all this emergency response team, part and parcel of a DOSH safety requirement. And governance, I've highlighted just now quite a fair bit of them. So it's just a repeat. Chairman and myself is separated, strong oversight in terms of 4 independent directors, and only Mr. Liu and myself are the executive directors. And we have more than 30% of females on board, and also the AC, the RC, the NC, all comprises of independents. So, and since listing, we are consistent. I've been doing this quarterly investor briefing every quarter without fail. And hopefully all of you can get a picture of how the company's been run in terms of this type of updates. And some pictures here. I'm sure some of you went to the Semicon Southeast Asia that recently concluded. So we had a large booth there. And these are some of the equipments that we put on display at the site. And we have a lot of our staff as well attending the show. Yeah, I can see kind of big team here because we have so many products, distribution, manufacturing, and also we have to handle so many clienteles. The feedback I've got, I mean, I wasn't there because I went to UK for my son's graduation, so I wasn't there. But the feedbacks from Mr. Liu and some of the team here was a very good show, and we got a lot of good interest from our clients all over ASEAN and sometimes across the world as well. All right, thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Chu, for the insightful presentation, and congratulations on your second quarter results. So now we open the floor to Q&A. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to raise your hand and I'll unmute you, or you may post your questions in the chat box and I will read them out. Thank you.
Chusan, I think you can stop sharing your screen.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Chu, there's a question in the chat box. So Ronnie from Mercury asked if the manufacturing only focuses on automotive.
Oh yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Yeah, Ron of Mercury office. Yeah. No, manufacturing side is not entirely focused on automotive. When I say automotive means our customers are semiconductor. We make equipments for semiconductors. So when I say automotive means our customers generally buy some of our, let's say for example, our AOI series, the post wire bonding inspection equipment. They are making ICs, I mean integrated circuit IC packages for their customer, which they are in automotive segment. That means the ICs have been consumed in automotive. That's what I meant. So I hope that answers your question. Of course, we do have like, Unisem or Kasem, they have other product lines, selling to 5G handphones and all that. They also buy equipment from us. So I say not only we focus on automotive, when I say our product so happen that the automotive IC makers still strongly buy some of this equipment. So that's the reason why I highlighted this part. I hope that answers your question, Ron. And I can read Shu in. So William shared with all of you here. Now, William York of TA asked, in view of the component shortages, can manufacturing show higher revenue in Q3 versus Q1? Yeah, I mean, we are already at around what's the number? We are around 12 million for up to 30th of June manufacturing side, and our order book stands at 27 million, and even August, I'm seeing a lot of orders coming into our manufacturing. And now is how fast can you deliver those equipment? So I would think Q3, Q4, we think we can easily deliver another 20 to 23 million of worth of equipment. That will kind of, our manufacturing side will hit probably 32 to 35 million on the conservative side. But if we can manage to ship out most of them, I think hitting 40 million ringgit is not impossible, but I would be conservative, knowing the shipping issues and all that. So I hope that answers your question, William. Ko Bing Yuan, when Batu Kawan factory will fully utilize? Good question. Now we are going to target to have the plant up by end of 2023. All right. And we in terms of fully utilization is going to be a gradual process, because you need to hire, you need to have product planning and all that. Of course, it will be as I talk, there's ongoing. But my biggest concern is always hiring. So how can you fill up the factory within such a short time? And knowing Batu Kawan such a competitive place, so it's not easy to fill up the plant. But we have the main plant here, so it's always to and fro. And I think the utilization will hit, just a quick guess, maybe by 2025, we should be at least hitting 70% kind of capacity building up. So that is my guess, because I don't have real data to share. But the plan is, plant ready by end 2023, gradual fill up. It takes about a year, and 2025, then you will start to roll out in terms of utilization. So I hope that answers your question, Mr. Koh. If some of you want to ask directly, just on your mic, raise up your hand on your mic, you're more than welcome to ask me questions verbally, then I'll try to answer. Yeah, Jaden of Apex. I don't have the control. Can somebody unmute him, or is it he can unmute himself?
Hi, Mr. Chiu. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Chiu. Okay, I just have some couple of questions. Because I see like China is recently just lifted their containment measurements. So do you see any like easing of your operation disruption, or maybe delivery disruption on your operation on China?
It's always good, if they open up, to have people traveling, physical presence is always good. So we are ready. As what I said just now, Mr. Liu also is always standing by to go to Shanghai and start to set up the office and hiring people and all that. So I think it will speed up some of the things, because right now we are just going on online meetings, and even very strangely, we even have to teach our distributor how to install machines through a video viewer, so that is what we are doing. But if we can start to travel, I think that will speed up a lot of things, and hopefully the results will be even much better if we can have a physical presence. So I hope that gives you an idea of the China.
Yeah, sure. And I understood that the supply chain disruption is still ongoing, and some of the part still take long time for you to get your part lah. But do you see like the trend is going to normalize, or maybe you can give some picture about that?
I would think, because I read some of the reports from the big equipment makers like AMAT, LAM, or KLA. Their delivery and their order intake is very strong, and their delivery is also staggered. So that's why I said, how the companies are going to manage all these deliveries. Then again, to fulfill order fulfillment, they will stagger quarter after quarter. So the results is going to be still good, I would expect, for most of the companies in this area of business, in this segment of business. So, and unless the market is very, very bad, then you have just the existing order book to fulfill and no new orders refreshment. Then quickly, the next, I would think 9 months to a year, it will back to norm. This is my guess, based on our experience. Like if your order refreshment is lower, much slower rate, then the impact can only be felt 9 months down the road. Then all these critical components will be delivered. Now, this is one angle in terms of customers or machine makers. The other angle is how fast the suppliers of these critical components. Sometimes if they make a lot and keep inventory, then that will help. So maybe that will kind of bi-directional kind of push to make this supply chain issue faster to be resolved. So no matter how fast also, I would think minimally 2 to 3 quarters from now, minimally. That's my expectation. So I hope that gives you an idea as well in terms of how fast this can be resolved.
I see. And I think maybe some of the semiconductor company like QES or definitely will have a growth on the robust order book. But how do you see the things going based on your conversation on your customer or maybe the jury with Applied Engineering? Do you see the customer or the global tech companies holding back their capex?
Yeah, the only people, I mean, really announce publicly announce a slowdown in the capex is those in the memory segment. The DRAM is very price sensitive. These are all very susceptible to price volatility. The DRAM is high volume game. You make the DRAM memory chips that is subjected to PC consumption, even phones consuming it, or even your thumb drives consumes it. So all this is very high volume game, and the price moves up and down very fast. And these companies that's in DRAM business, especially Micron, Samsung, and SK Hynix, these are the 3 largest ones, and then maybe Toshiba. So these are the people that starting to say, oh, maybe I should pull back on capex in terms of their spending. And you look at some of the let's say the power ICs for EVs. I think those they are still continuing to expanding. I can name it some of the big names like Infineon, like ST Micro, NXP. I don't think they are pulling back. So they still have a lot of expansion plans over the next couple of quarters. So I think so far, we are also getting a lot of inputs from all these players. Then they are continuing their expansion plans. You look at the last couple of months of announcement. Even in Malaysia alone, you have Kulim. Infineon Kulim is spending billions ringgit to set up the 3rd phase, and then you have Intel just announced that they're going to do a fab also in Penang, spending another, 30 billion ringgit. And then you have, of course, the local boys like Silterra also announcing they're going to spend a couple $100 million to upgrade their facilities and all that. Osram also doing a fab in Penang, also expanding rapidly. And all this, you can see that it's coming, it's already announced, but the timeline for this to be completed is between, I would think, 18 to 24 months. So, even though assuming today the market is down, second half of 2022 is down, but these people are still going to continue. I told my team here, stay the course. Financially we are sound, we should invest, and we should actually make sure we are ready so that when the next so-called upturn, then we can fully capitalize on that. And by then also, I think our China operation is more matured, and we hopefully can leverage more business from them. And I haven't talked about US, I'm talking about Europe only. So you can see the room to grow for us is quite a fair bit, and we will continue to expand in terms of the market segment that we are in. The good part about QES is we have the distribution division. We are different from a lot of peers. So the distribution division helps us to cushion because we are very active in other market segments. We have a recurring income, close to 40 million ringgit. Sometimes I see some of the companies, the whole company generate 40 million ringgit a year. We have just a service division generating 40 million ringgit a year with a GP of 35%. That is the strength that we have. Just to give you an idea of pending downturn, how do we address that?
I see. So beside that, from your strong order book, so you're still seeing some strong order coming in for QES?
Yeah. I'm staying the course. Basically, I will continue to. I don't hold back. Batu Kawan already allocated. We already bought the land. We already paid for the land. We're going to go ahead and build the factory. Allocation of capex of close to 20 million is there. and then we'll slowly fill it up. Somebody asked me a question about when can it be fully utilized. I don't think so soon. By the time we fully utilize, it's going to be 2025 because it's a gradual uptake. It's not like, you fill up the thing overnight. You can't. Knowing the business that we are in, you can't fill up overnight. Same like our customers, when they build a fab, it takes time, 24 months, then they start facilitizing and they start hiring the people or relocating some of the staff. And that again, it's an ongoing thing, But all these are done in the backdrop of, my opinion is at the backdrop of semiconductor is being applied and used in every single thing in our daily lives. So that is very convincing that I think we are growing in this segment on this backdrop that is going to continue. But it's not going to be like every year you generate 30-40% growth, but you can't. So you're going to be up and down. But on the general, you will have a good kind of a CAGR of 6-7% kind of range. This is my expectation anyway.
I see. So, and some about the labor issue. Because it seems like the labor market is recovering. So, do you still encounter any like labor shortage on your engineering?
Yes.
Engineer.
Yeah, of course.
On the Batu Kawan side.
Yes, there's definitely I mean, I don't think people can avoid that because there's competition. I can't be competing with Intel or Micron, hiring all these engineers. But we have to find our way, So for us, is good part is we are located in here, Shah Alam. So at least I have certain stability here, even though it's not 100%. You still have some turnover here and there, but Batu Kawan is going to be worse. So that's why I said earlier on, the filling up Batu Kawan is going to be a big headache, but we have to go through that process. So I believe we can attract some talent. So not necessarily everybody wants to work for big multinational companies. So there are people who are keen to work in a smaller outfit like QES.
I see. Okay, that's for from me. Thank you, Mr. Chu.
Sure.
Thanks, Jayden. Okay, I think we have time for one last question before I close the briefing. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, looks like there are none, but if anyone has any further questions, you can always reach out to us after the briefing. Mr. Chu, do you have any closing remarks or final words before we close?
No, I just thought that some of the people that I know in this group here, you have not visited our office, by all means contact Alicia, then we can arrange a site visit and to look at our new operation here. Yeah. So, but try to time it. We can't have too big a group, but you can work it out with Alicia. I'm more than happy to show you the factory and all that.
Okay, yeah, we'll work with Alicia on that if there's any requests. So with that, I will close this briefing. On behalf of QES and Bursa Malaysia, thank you for attending today's briefing. Thank you very much, Mr. Chu.
Thank you all. Have a